This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening, everyone. Changes are coming to your forecast this week. Hutch joins us straight away tonight with what we know and what we don't know about some upcoming snow. Hutch?
Thanks so much, Stacy. Yeah, models are actually coming into more of an agreement on our storm system that will be developing moving through midweek and into the late week. The biggest impact days for us will be Thursday and Friday. And well, since last week, we've been talking about Friday. We've added Thursday to the mix on that. Here's a look at two models. We're going to compare them both and show you some similarities and differences. It does look like Wednesday is the onset. We know that we're going to have some rain. Some areas will see it mixing with some snow. A little bit of a break Thursday morning, and then from Thursday afternoon on, the conditions do deteriorate according to the present model runs now. North winds getting gusty at times on the American model with bands of snow that spread south throughout the late day. There could be evening impacts up north, and then for Friday, many of us will see impacts. And as far as snowfall amounts go, that American model keeping everything that's heavy up in northern Minnesota. And as far as amounts go, we won't talk about how much that may be yet. European model, very similar, maybe not as much Wednesday snow up north. There's that quick break, and then we're right into the wind and snow. And the European model might even have some heavier bands of snow here in the Red River Valley and western Minnesota. Likewise, similar snowfall area and the aerial coverage. So we are gaining some confidence in this forecast Thursday again. Just to remind you, a break early and then it's on. North winds gusty with impacts north late in the day to travel. And then by Friday morning, many of us could have some impacts. There'll be accumulating snow for many areas, but will it be shovelable or will we need those snow blowers running, tuned up and ready to go? In short, I think it's a good idea to get the gas and make sure that thing fires up, particularly in our northern counties. And I'll have hour by hour details in a moment.
All right. Thanks so much, Hutch.
You bet.
This just into our newsroom. Valley News Live has an update on the search for a man wanted for armed robbery. That robbery happened just after 9 this morning in South Fargo at Casey's off of 25th Street and 20th Avenue South. After a day-long search, Fargo police have just arrested 26-year-old Tyler Hendrickson of Fargo. No word yet on how much he got away with. North Dakota court records show he previously pled guilty to shoplifting. Local doctors are speaking out against the anti-parasitic pill ivermectin, saying it was shown not to be an effective treatment. That hasn't stopped celebrities and athletes like Green Bay's Aaron Rodgers from endorsing the drug. Local infectious disease experts say people shouldn't rely on a drug that hasn't been approved or proven to work when there are effective treatments readily available.
Misinformation is also a kind of pandemic right now that we are dealing with, and that I think is a bigger problem right now as compared to the actual pandemic, because we have vaccines and we have treatments which can help most of the people, if not all.
People have also confused ivermectin with an animal drug with the same name. Today, one viewer told us she hasn't been able to get the treatment for her horses as it's been sold out at local feed stores. Meanwhile, one of the organizers of an anti-vaccine mandate rally, North Dakota Representative Jeff Hoverson, says ivermectin is keeping him out of the hospital. He's currently diagnosed with COVID-19 and missed today's rally. He told the Associated Press today he's taking the deworming drug, saying the virus is, quote, like a really bad flu. The crowd gathered outside the Capitol as North Dakota is one of several states challenging President Biden's vaccine requirements. Now, inside the Capitol today was the first day of North Dakota's special session. Lawmakers discussed the original topics for the session, redistricting and ARPA spending, as well as 26 other bills. Of them, just 9 were approved to head to the chamber floors. 2 of the bills going forward limit the powers of vaccine mandates, and another would ban the teaching of critical race theory in schools, despite all sponsors saying they aren't aware of it being taught in North Dakota. Opposing lawmakers have called these bills distractions and say the length of this special session is dependent on the debate of these social issue bills. The 9 bills which were supported will be debated by a joint committee in the morning and could be voted on just a few hours later.
We are the parents. We parent the kids. It's our responsibility to protect their health.
Today was the first day students and staff at Dilworth Glendon Felton Public Schools returned to having to wear a mask. And tonight, some parents made their voices heard. Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor was at the first school board meeting since the mandate was implemented. Nishay?
Stacy, this school year parents in the district have been outspoken regarding mask mandates, but tonight just a handful of parents spoke up about the new requirement, all of whom were completely against the change. Last week, the district informed families a 2-week mask mandate for students and staff would take effect starting today, and those parents against the requirement expressed why they didn't agree.
You are not a king, and you cannot command our children. I do not give you authority to violate the 14th Amendment and force masks against my child's right to free will and liberty.
But district officials say they had their reasoning for moving forward with a mask requirement.
We had 2 particular classes, so a middle school class that was almost 10% positive in that grade level. We had an elementary grade level almost at the same rate, just over 9%. And we said at the beginning of the year with our resolution that if we saw a change or we could determine that we feel the spread is happening in our building, then we need to make an adjustment.
Now, Stacy, the mask requirement is set to expire on November 21st.
Thanks so much, Nishay. And the next board meeting for the DGF district is November 22nd. Minnesota as a whole is showing a disturbing new trend in COVID cases. Today, the state saw its highest single-day count of new cases in nearly a year since last December. Active cases reached a high for the year, too. There were more than 4,200 newly confirmed or probable cases reported today, along with 34 reported deaths. New blue lights or stoplights across Moorhead have some drivers scratching their heads, wondering if they're traffic cameras to catch speeders. The city says that's not the case, as cameras like that aren't allowed by Minnesota state law. Instead, it's a way officers can better and more safely enforce red light laws. They say knowing exactly when a light turns red as the bulb on top lights up blue, which can be seen at any angle, and it also allows drivers to self-enforce.
It kind of adds an extra indication that the driver can see that will hopefully help wake them up and reduce some of the red light running we've seen around town.
Now, so far there are 6 intersections with the blue lights, but the city plans to add 4 to 6 more each year, they say, until the entire city is lit up blue. No plans yet to add those lights in Fargo. For the first time, a number of lakes in Minnesota have been added to a list of waters that failed to meet state water quality standards. Included on that list, Lake Winona and Alexandria. It was added to the list for having forever chemicals in it, or chemicals that don't ever break down. Also, new dozens of bodies of water have too much sulfate in them, which can threaten wild rice production. In all, the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency is proposing to add more than 300 bodies of water to its list of impaired water this year. Driver's license exam stations in Minnesota are reopening, including the station in Thief River Falls. It's been closed since March of 2020 because of staffing and public safety issues related to the pandemic. It's one of 7 stations opening this month. DPS said today 43 exam stations will reopen before the end of the year. Another 50 will be open by the end of January. Still ahead tonight, an incredible story where a 14-year-old girl is inspiring all of us with her dedication to her brother.
And as we head into the 10 o'clock hour, we have even new information on our late week weather. New model data coming in as we speak. I'll sort it all out in your hour-by-hour forecast about our first alert weather days for Thursday and Friday right after this.